G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of my SC24 Chelsea Career Mode series. In this episode, we have the Carabao Cup Final up against Manchester United, just like we did in real life, except, unfortunately, yet again at Wembley, we were the losers, and Liverpool defeated us in extra time by a goal to nil. We are the blue billion-pound bottle jobs, according to Gary Neville, and that's something that is going to stick with us for a while, I feel like. And Mauricio Pochettino again cements his reputation as a trophy dodger. You can take the man out of Spurs, but you can't take Spurs out of the man. For those of you who saw my instant match reaction from the Carabao Cup Final, you will know that I was absolutely gutted, and I'm sure many of you were also pretty devastated. Not because it was another defeat in a final, but more so because of the backstory and the context and the storyline behind it. And it was a game that we had to win in terms of keeping Pochettino in good spirits within the fan base. And because he's lost it, a lot of people are sort of teetering on the edge of Poch out, and I think it's a bubble that's about to burst. After we lost that Wolves game at Stamford Bridge, I was also getting very, very close to becoming a Poch out person, so to speak. And he had to win that cup final. There is no two ways about it. He had to win, and he didn't. So now, again, more question marks are being asked of the manager because the players, yes, they were tired in extra time as we hit play on this game here. Pochettino came out in the post-match press conference and said that we were extremely tired, we ran out of gas essentially, and that maybe penalties became appealing to the players towards the latter stages of the game. And yes, Liverpool had plenty of young players on the pitch, but their overall squad age was still older than our overall squad age during that game, and both before and after full time. So it was a situation where, yes, we're a young team. We get into situations sometimes where we don't have the experience or the composure to be able to deal with tough situations and get over the line. But at the same time, like, cup finals are not to be played well, they're to be won. And we played well, but we did not do a good enough job to get over the line, especially in extra time, because I think that's where the game was lost. We could have easily won it in 90 minutes. Conor Gallagher had some great opportunities. Probably should have scored that one-on-one that he had with Kelleher. I know that Cole Palmer also had a shot that Kelleher blocked in the first half, which was a great save. He played a really good game. But of course, with Liverpool having Virgil van Dijk at the back, they're just such a composed outfit. As we lose the ball there, that's not going to get us. That's going to get us into some trouble with Højlund running in behind. He backheels it to Anthony, who's not going to cook up anything here. Or maybe he will. Rashford. And Fofana lands that tackle almost perfectly, and it turns out to be a goal kick. But as I was saying, we should have won that game, and we didn't because we crumbled under the pressure. You could tell that once the momentum was going in Liverpool's favour in that extra time, we shrunk and we cowered, and we really did shrink in a situation where most of us had to be standing tall and getting over the line. And unfortunately, we didn't. And there's two ways of looking at it. It could be a learning experience where the players are galvanised by the loss and want to perform even better to get back to a cup final and turn their fortunes around. Or it could be the opposite, where the doubt and the lack of confidence starts to seep in. And as we get that ball out wide here to Cucurella, where the players start to think maybe we're not good enough to win trophies, maybe we're not good enough to be wearing the Chelsea shirt. As Conor Gallagher gets in, and Onana makes a save at the near post, pushing it out for a corner. And as Pochettino looks on, I was absolutely devastated seeing some of his reactions on the touchline when that Liverpool header went in. It was very disappointing, and there is a part of me that wants to see him succeed and actually win a trophy in England. But when you look at his track record, he's did a good job at Southampton. He then landed at Spurs and created an absolutely electrifying team with Harry Kane and a young Son and all that. Dele Alli as well, Christian Eriksen. Oh, so many good players from that team. And then didn't accomplish anything with them. And then almost getting it into the central area. And then he goes to PSG and has pretty much the God squad. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe. Like, winning the French league should have been easy. And Lille ended up winning it around that time as well. And they didn't even get the Champions League, which was pretty much their objective. And it's blocked again, going to the goalkeeper. So Pochettino is not an elite manager in terms of winning trophies, which is why I was skeptical about employing him to begin with. As we get this ball, terrible pass by Cucurella there, not able to find the feet of Nkunku. But I don't know, I think Pochettino, if he doesn't get a consistent run of games that are all getting W's towards the end of this season, I think we might have to pull the trigger and get rid of him, because it just simply hasn't been good enough. Like, we've had no European football this season, which means we've basically been allowed to train on the training pitch and have more time to practice and drill Pochettino's style of play with this young, impressionable squad. And yet, there are so many games throughout this season where we just don't look like we know what we're doing. We're not getting those patterns of plays working, and we're definitely obviously not getting enough good results. And the fact that we don't have Europe and we are struggling so bad is a huge red flag to me. So I think if Pochettino can't get us again, because coming into the season, top 6 was like bare minimum for my expectations. If we don't get maybe 6th or 7th, which I think is still realistic, and we don't win the FA Cup, like Pochettino, he can't stay in a job. There's no way. And yes, you could look at Klopp and Arteta and a lot of other managers who have been given time and how well of a job they're doing in this current moment. But come on, this is Chelsea Football Club. We cannot accept mediocrity, and Pochettino has been delivering too much of that so far, as Christopher Nkunku gets an absolutely exquisite strike into the back of the net, utilizing his pace and acceleration to get him behind. It was a beautiful through ball, and the Manchester United defense had no chance of catching him, and Onana probably should have saved it. Goes straight through him like he's a ghost. He's not even there. And we have the advantage, scoring in front of the Chelsea fans. How bloody good. Hopefully, in-game, we can turn our fortunes around, because as you all know, this career mode series has been far too realistic in terms of we are sitting in mid-table in the Premier League. We're not able to get any sort of consistency. We've made it to the Carabao Cup Final. But here, as you can see, things are turning around, hopefully for the better. We've got the goal advantage, and we just win this game. But Manchester United are still pushing and have been dangerous at many stages. Oh, as Reece James almost concedes a penalty there, making a late tackle. And Sterling doesn't quite get it under control and get the pass off. And Raheem Sterling is another player that I want to raise question marks because, again, he did pretty much nothing in that game at Wembley, which was severely disappointing. And as someone who has been had plenty of good games at Wembley in an England or a Manchester City shirt, and he's our most experienced player, or definitely our most experienced forward in the team, you just expect better. And unfortunately, he still is not delivering the goods. And maybe at the end of the season, when we look at his stats, I might think differently, because he still is getting assists. Like, he got an assist in the FA Cup fixture against Leeds, and he, has had good games where he's been absolutely electrifying against, like Burnley and a couple other teams, I'm sure, as well, that I can't remember off the top of my head. But Nkunku, damn it, gets nicked off him. So I don't understand where he fits in our long-term project, because Pochettino has come to his defense and said that in training he's always, giving it 100%, and he's always fit and available and ready to go in the team. But when we've got Mykhailo Mudryk, who is obviously struggling for confidence, you want to see him on the pitch. And I think he played okay in that FA Cup game from what I saw. Again, being in Australia, I wasn't able to watch it live, as Sanchez makes a huge save getting down low and parrying it away out for a corner. As Hoyland goes off, which is pretty good, Anthony Martial comes on to replace him. What a joke of a player he is. Manchester United are a joke of a team, aren't they? It's absolutely... I'm still wholly embarrassed that we are beneath them on the table, because they've been awful this season and we're still below them. So that says a lot about us, I think. Hang on. Let's get this ball out here to Cucurella. Can we get maybe a 1-2? Sterling out to Nkunku. He's got to get Madueke in. Oh, he might be offside. Yeah, he is. I can see the flag go up in the bottom corner. Bloody hell. Great opportunity. We're not able to capitalise there. But I just feel like our team, we just need to find a consistent starting 11. And yes, I know Christopher Nkunku's out injured again, which is not ideal. Obviously, Enzo and Moy are getting lots of minutes, which means the fatigue levels for them are definitely setting in, as a shot from deep comes in there, which is obviously not good, because you want to be having a rotation with the likes of Kani Chukwuemeka, Leslie Okechukwu, Cassidy, who's just come back from loan as well. I'm sure he'll get some minutes. But I want to see Pochettino get a consistent starting 11, and hopefully through that we can get some more consistent results, because I think Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez have been really good for us this season. As good as they can be, I think, because did not go where I wanted it to. Obviously, they've had to get used to each other, playing with one another and seeing what their patterns of play are, how they respond to each other on the pitch, and I think they've done a good job of that. But at the same time, you've got Conor Gallagher in there, who's really made a statement and is looking like he's going to stay at the club, hopefully. I think he has to. If he leaves, it would be truly disappointing as a fan base to see him go, considering how well he's performed. But I don't know. I think it's hard when you've got so many injuries, but our team is definitely good enough to be getting results. And yes, we're struggling to championship sides like Leeds in the FA Cup, and losing to teams like Wolves, and obviously getting smacked at Anfield at Liverpool was embarrassing, which, meant coming into the final, no one expected us to win. But when that team sheet came out, with Liverpool's bench being pretty much god-awful, you thought, their starting 11 had to get the job done. And we went toe-to-toe with them for such a long time. And in that second half, when the Liverpool substitutions did eventually come on, you could tell that we started to control the game, get better opportunities, and look like the team that was going to win it. And unfortunately, we didn't. And I don't know what that's down to, whether it's a lack of experience or whether it's down to Pochettino's tactics, as Madueke tries to roll it in the back of the net, and late on in the game, he steps up again, similar to the first goal, and Nkunku running in behind. Madueke does the same thing, and Christoph in the first half was the scorer. This time he turns provider, and Madueke, with such ease, such composure, on his right foot, just rolls it into the bottom corner, and just like that, I think we're going to come away with another trophy and add it to the cabinet. How bloody good. I'm extremely happy with this, because even though in the career mode, winning the Carabao Cup basically means nothing, as it kind of does in real life as well. It's one of those trophies where it's one of those competitions, if you get knocked out early, you don't really care. You're like, good, less games in our congested fixture list. But at the same time, if you get to the latter stages, it's a trophy and you need to win it, because it just helps with building confidence and steamrolling you towards success later in the year. And we saw that with Manchester United last season, as they went on to get into the FA Cup and get into top 4 football, and Christopher Nkunku gets his third. And Manchester United, trying to change the tempo, push more players forward, have left plenty of space out the back, and Amrabat, the bold man in red, cannot catch him, and we have got 3 goals to the good. And yes, we will be Carabao Cup winners this time around. How bloody good. I'm super stoked with this performance. We've been really good since we've changed to the solid 3 in midfield, with Gallagher, Moises Caicedo in the CDM position, and then obviously Enzo being that box-to-box player, as well as Sterling gets a good interception there, and I think we'll just keep possession of the football because it's pretty much over. And Thiago Silva, in what might be his last season as a Chelsea Blue, is going to get a trophy here in the career mode, which is fantastic. Now that he's back from injury, I'm curious to see if he gets back into the starting 11. I think Levi Colwill has definitely made an impression and proved that centre-back is his best position and where he should be playing. No, and Nkunku just did not make a run into the box as a lethal fox in the box should. And unfortunately, it's going to lead to a potential counter-attack for Manchester United. And we want a clean sheet. We don't want to be conceding late on. And Cucurella, who's been playing so very well in the career mode series, has made it up an important tackle there. And just like that, hopefully the full-time whistle should go any second now. And there it is. 3-0. Chelsea is victorious. And as we watch the celebrations in the background, because it is likely that this is going to be our only trophy that we win in the career mode, because I just don't think our team's good enough to beat the likes of Liverpool, City, Arsenal if we come up against them, and we're certainly not going to get anywhere close to top 4 football. So as we watch the boys soak in the moment here, I was going to say it was one of those things I really did wish that we got to see, Pochettino and this young squad win a trophy, because if they did, it would have, I think, given a lot of confidence to the ownership especially, but of course the fans, but given us confidence in this long-term project, because getting to a cup final with all the dramatic behind-the-scenes changes and Pochettino coming in at the beginning of the season, it already in itself is a huge achievement, but still, we come out on the losing side, and it's severely disappointing. And I think a lot of fans will definitely be getting close to Poch out, because he is just not quite galvanizing this fan base. And if the fans don't like what Pochettino is delivering on the pitch, I think the Stamford Bridge crowd will start to get a little bit toxic. And just like Graham Potter got sacked when the fans and he lost the dressing room, Mauricio Pochettino might just be the same. But it definitely seems, at least, that the dressing room at this stage, this young squad, are definitely rallying behind Pochettino and trying to get as many good results for the manager. Now, just like in real life, we transition immediately into an FA Cup game, and I think that's ludicrous. Playing a cup final, 120 minutes, then having to do it all again in another knockout competition. I feel more so sorry for Liverpool because they did have so many injuries, and poor Klopp, he's really having to do it tough. But as Pochettino has this whole season pretty much, he's been struggling with injury. So I have little sympathy, but it is quite crazy having to play pretty much every 3 days at this stage of the season, as Mykhailo Mudryk gets the first against Norwich. This is a team that we should hopefully be breezing past. I don't want to be spending too much time on this simulation. But yes, Leeds, which is obviously a hugely important rivalry in England, coming up against them in the FA Cup was always going to be a tasty affair. And I watched the extended highlights, and I also scrolled on Twitter and saw what a lot of Chelsea fans were saying. And it was a very mixed bag, I feel like. Some people thought we were awful. Some people weren't exactly impressed, but could see a lot of positives and took them away, such as Mudryk playing in the cam position, the number 10 role. And that's extremely optimistic, because that is something I never considered, him playing more centrally and getting on the ball and being a bit more creatively dictating a bit more creatively as he gets a goal here. And I think we're going to easily breeze past Norwich here at home. And so there was that. And then Jackson got a really good goal to respond after a terrible mistake at the back by Disasi and Sanchez. I think it's also pretty much confirmed that Petrovic is better and that he's going to be our number 1, as Conor Gallagher gets a 4th. And I'm very much so excited to see Petrovic continue in the lineup and develop as a young goalkeeper, because he hasn't done much wrong. Yes, he hasn't had many clean sheets, which is obviously what goalkeepers are judged on, but he looks comfortable at the back, and he seems composed when he has the ball and when he's communicating with his back four. So in terms of that, I'm very happy to see Petrovic continue as the number 1, because Sanchez, he was never that good to begin with. And I definitely don't think he's going to be a striker for the long term. So let's jump to the result. 4-0 it stays. A few substitutions, but weren't able to change anything. But that's an easy result at home. Now we come up against Brentford, who are without Ivan Toney in the career mode. And they are in 12th spot on the table, so just behind us. And again, this is a game that we should be comfortably winning. This will be uploaded, as you would know, after the game in real life. So hopefully the fan base is again in good spirits and that you are coming to this video and coming to enjoy and hopefully discuss in the comments how well we played. But let's not waste any more time. I think the biggest question mark that we have going in towards the end of the season is, can we get to Wembley yet again in the FA Cup? And can we get that 6th or 7th spot to secure a form of European football? Because I think that has to be the bare minimum. And because we didn't win the Carabao Cup, like, that obviously could have given us Conference League, and that opportunity has now disappeared. So it's going to be make or break time, I feel like, for Pochettino and Chelsea, now that we're starting to get closer and closer to the home stretch. And I think if we can get those objectives, then it can be reflected on as a pretty positive season. And Kunku, with quick feet, is able to launch it in on his left foot. And that was a really good finish there. A great cut inside, and Brentford were not able to deal with it. Again, Thomas Frank's men are not exactly capturing the magic that they have in previous seasons. Obviously, Ivan Toney was out through that long-term ban. They've had a few injuries that they've had to deal with. And Thomas Frank, I think he's a good manager, but I think they've run out of steam, the Brentford side. And the Bees might get dragged into a relegation battle, which will be unfortunate to see, because I hope they stay in the Prem. I do like their presence in the division. And it's one of those situations as I can't quite get the controller to do what I want, and Gallagher gets punished, but we still are able to collect the football. But obviously, yeah, with the likes of Nottingham Forest lurking around the relegation zone, Everton, which just got their points recovered in terms of, like, they got 10 points deducted due to their breaching financial fair play rules, and now it's been reduced to 6 as Conor Gallagher makes an excellent run. Oh, it's offside. Mikhailo Mudryk with an absolutely amazing pass on his left foot. It's basically a no-look pass, and he's not able to time it so that Gallagher can get in on goal, as Casado should be landing that tackle, making that interception. Fails, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm very curious to see who goes down, because coming into it, I think everyone was predicting that the 3 teams that came up were all going to just go straight back down: Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield. I think Sheffield and Burnley are probably going to go down. My question mark is whether Luton can make the great escape. Enzo from just on the edge of the box, and Flecken, unfortunately for us, is able to make the save. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting end to the season. And this is why I love watching Premier League football, because... Oh, another corner. Because the whole league is exciting from the top end and from the bottom end. Obviously, you've got Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City in a 3-way race for the title itself. You've got everything that's happening in the relegation zone, and then you've got people that are outperforming, like Aston Villa, who I did not anticipate at the beginning of the season, but full credit to Unai Emery. He's been performing so very well, and I think if they get top 6 football, that would be a huge accomplishment for them, considering they had Steven Gerrard recently, and we're not quite capturing that same magic. And the likes of Ollie Watkins has been performing really well. I'd be interested to see if he becomes a potential striker target for Chelsea. I can't imagine. I'm not seeing many rumours, but he's been performing very well in the Premier League, and if he did leave, I'd expect him to go for a big transfer fee. But again, there's so many strikers that Chelsea get linked with. Obviously, there's Osherman. There's that guy whose name I keep forgetting, but from Sporting Lisbon, who's been doing quite well over in Portugal. As Enzo almost is able to keep the ball to his foot like a magnet. And then who's the other one? Ferguson from Brighton. I think we got to avoid Brighton at all costs now. Todd Bowley and Egbali should have just bloody bought Brighton. They've nicked all their staff. and they're trying to copy so much of what they were doing in terms of recruitment and behind the scenes dealings. They basically are turning us into Brighton, which is a middle of the league division team, which is quite sad or humorous depending on what perspective you take. Cucurella. Oh no, he didn't quite take the step after the step overs that I wanted. And unfortunately, we're caught out here. Oh, Fofana, such composed, able to track back and make a tackle. Gallagher, well in. Cucurella again, cutting inside. Gallagher again, making another run forward. Oh, unfortunately gets stolen off him again. He's pickpocketed. And we're getting closer and closer to the halftime whistle here. And, oh, not able to land that interception. Oh, James, well in. Ball in behind. Ah, and Cuckoo's never going to beat someone almost double his size there. Oh, Enzo got turned, but still the pass was shocking and the interception was able to be made, and Mudryk spun himself into trouble there. That's a case where you're on the slippery side. You decide to, I'm going to walk up the slide instead of going all the way down it, and then you see someone who's already coming straight down the slide, about to smash into you. That's exactly what Mudryk just did then. And if we are able to win this game, again, it's going to give us another 3 points and help us get further up that table. And if we can do that in this career mode, I'll be extremely happy, because obviously when I play these games for you guys, it's an outlet for me to express my thoughts and feelings on what's happening in real life. But I also want you guys to be entertained by what I'm showing you in the background. And there's not been much to celebrate. Obviously, we've won a trophy in this episode, which is hugely impressive considering the squad that we've got at our disposal. And I think if we get this ball out to Cucurella, beautiful pass. Oh no! Bloody controller. And we've run out of time anyway. Oh, what a turn by Madueke there. Oh, beautiful play. And Conor Gallagher with the power shot. Oh, it goes straight to the goalkeeper. I was trying to get into that bottom left-hand corner, but unfortunately he doesn't hit the target. Great build-up play. Running in behind with plenty of space. Not great defending by Brentford. And Mudryk is able to get on the end of it there. And another power shot is pushed away out for a corner. All right, Reece James with his right foot. Let's try and whip one in so we can celebrate in front of the fans. Disasi. Enzo! Ooh, not able to get through the keeper's legs. And, oh, Cucurella's made a huge mistake there. Letting the player get in. And I'm not able to switch to the right player. Back in Cucurella's direction. And James is able to make a clearance. Oh, and it's gone to Madueke. Makes a clumsy touch though. And let's reset and keep possession of the football. Oh shit, no mistake. Oh. Oh no, we're going to get penalised here. Oh, it's a terrible shot. Terrible, terrible, terrible. That was an easy save for our number one there. We might need to make some substitutions soon. I can feel some tired bodies. James makes a run. That's a foul. He's come straight through the back of him. Oh, he's got sent off as well. Wow, this will be a great opportunity for us to finish this game off in style. Let's make those substitutions. Let's bring on Jackson, who has been in pretty good form. I think maybe Sterling should come on and replace Madueke. I want to get Palmer on for Gallagher. And why not? Let's get Carney Chukwuemeka on as well. Bring him on for Fernandez. Give him a rest. And then Ben Chilwell. Let's be a little bit more defensively solid. Get Cucurella off. And finish off the game that way. Yeah, look, it's a dangerous tackle. It's the possibility for some broken legs. So a red card does not surprise me. Maybe a little bit harsh, but I'm not complaining. Let's whip that in. Palmer gets on the end of it, but unfortunately is not able to score.
James. That's a good pass.
Jackson, oh come on, buddy. does everything right, makes the decoy run, cuts back inside, receives the ball in front of him, looks up at the goalkeeper and he's still not able to finish. He could hit the near post here. He does! Nicholas Jackson easily dispatches it into the back of the net. The defending at the corner was absolutely horrendous. And when you've got a target man who's good in the air, making a run like that at the near post, it's always going to be difficult for the goalkeeper. And Chelsea come away victorious, and I'm so very glad that we're able to get a goal and celebrate in that blue corner. There's two defenders on him, and they both couldn't get the job done. And just like that, we come away victorious 3 times in this episode. I guess if we count the simulation, we've gone 3 for 3, 3 points here in the Premier League. And just like that, hopefully we can climb up that Premier League table because it's so very important. And at the Chelsea Football Club, we pride ourselves on our victories, but we pride ourselves also on the way that we played. And we've been pretty defensively solid, even though the siege has begun in the latter stages of this second half. And we might get another opportunity to counter here. If Mudryk can time his run, the pass was also pretty awful. It gets deflected, but it doesn't matter. 2-0 on the night, and if that was the case in real life as well, I'll be very, very pleased. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you've enjoyed it, smash that like button. Again, comment your thoughts on the Carabao Cup Final, what you thought of our FA Cup performance, the Premier League, any of it. I just want to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Again, if you've made it to this stage, you've enjoyed it in some respect, so I thank you and appreciate you for that. And I'll catch you in the next episode where we will be versing Newcastle in the Premier League. Another team that is again above us in the league and we need to be bypassing if we want to be getting further and further up on the table. So I'll catch you then. Come on, you Blues.